Welcome to True North Perspective. My name is Sean. We're going to get right into the content today as we have a lot to discuss. There's been some major updates and major events that have occurred. One of the things that we're going to be discussing today is the ongoing conflict between Iran and Israel, and there has been a lot of updates that have come through. Iran has absolutely decimated Israel, and in different areas from Tel Aviv to Haifa to the port in Haifa has been devastated. And on the other hand, Israel continues to attack Iran, and they also attacked a children's hospital. But luckily, thank God, nobody was injured. The patients are okay, the doctors are okay, the nurses are okay. There's a whole bunch of other updates that have come out. One that includes a plea from Israel to get US involved. There's also another update about a major figure in the Israeli Ministry of Defense that has also resigned. So we'll go over all of that. And so let's get right into the content. But before we do, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps with the algorithm. And I assure you that I will keep you up to date and posted on everything that is occurring. I've been, doing my research as well. So let's get into the content right away. First thing I'm going to show you is the actual retirement, or the resignation, I should say, rather. I shouldn't use the word retirement because it wasn't retirement, it was resignation. So let's take a quick look here and I will show you. So as you can see here, breaking news, and this was a couple of hours ago. Shin Bet, which is technically Ministry of Defense like we have in Canada, or the Department of Defense for the United States. Shin Bet Chief Ron Bar announces resignation effective June 15th, which was today. He takes responsibility for the October 7th Hamas attacks and resisted Netanyahu's political pressure. Another blow to Israel's deepening crisis of accountability. And so you can see here, this is the fellow that resigned. Now, before we get into the content, for those that don't know, what is the conflict between Iran and Israel all about? It's all about nuclear weapons and nuclear enrichment. So what I'm going to do here is just show you a very quick timeline, just so you guys are up to date, you know exactly what's going on. Now, right now, this war, or what's going on right now, the conflict between Iran and Israel, is basically due to the fact that Iran is enriching, basically they're enriching nuclear. They have nuclear. They're trying to make nuclear weapons. They're trying to access nuclear, and they're enriching, nuclear. So basically, what's happening right now is that both the U.S. and United States of America and Israel are not content with that. They are, saying that Iran could basically, shouldn't have any nuclear weapons, which is pretty unfair because everybody has nuclear weapons. Canada has it. Israel has it. U.S. has them, and so they're saying Iran, because of the regime, they can't have it. Now, this whole situation with the nuclear weapons and the deal, there was already a deal signed. So for those that already know, I apologize because I'm repeating this, but for those that don't know, there was a deal that was signed between Barack Obama, who was the president of the United States at the time. This was back in 2015, and Iran. So let's take a quick look here at that deal. And so basically, I made some notes for you so it makes it easier with some key facts. It was signed in Vienna in Austria, negotiated between Iran and the P5+1. So United States, United Kingdom, France, Russia, China, and Germany, plus the European Union. Limit Iran's nuclear program in exchange for relief from crippling economic sanctions. So basically what happened was, Obama released some of the sanctions, and, in return, Iran said that, hey, we won't enrich any uranium above 3.67. They capped the number of centrifuges, and they cut down Iran's uranium stockpile by 98% and allowed IAEA inspections of nuclear facilities. Now, you also have to bear in mind that these inspections were going great. There was absolutely nothing that was coming out that was negative. They were following protocol. Now, in comes Donald Trump. Okay, and in May 2018, during his first term, Donald Trump withdrew the U.S. from the deal, calling it disastrous and reinstating sanctions. And this is what has backfired right now. Iran gradually walked back compliance, enriching uranium beyond limits. Attempts to revive the deal under Biden stalled repeatedly, and today it's effectively dead. So in comes Donald Trump, and he says, nope, we're not going to, we don't want this. You have to sign a deal, and sign it quick. Otherwise, there could be, repercussions, and this is exactly where we are right now. This is the exact situation that we are in right now. That there was no deal done. Iran continued to basically enrich their uranium, and build on their nuclear program. and obviously Israel and United States didn't really like it. Now, a couple of days ago, um, and this is really funny because I shouldn't say it's funny, but basically, the United States Secretary of State Mark Rubio comes out and says, "Hey, you know what? We are not involved in any of this war." And if you look at my previous videos, you're going to see that he did come out with a statement. However, any person that has some sort of intelligence or has half a brain would know. Oh, sorry, that's my cat. Would know they knew about this plan. Okay, Donald Trump knew about it. The Department of Defense knew about it. Everybody in Donald Trump's regime knew that this attack was coming. It was planned. Okay, it was not a preemptive strike. It was, everybody was well aware of it. And unfortunately, Donald Trump gave him the green light. And a lot of newspapers, including right-wing media from Israel, reported that Donald Trump and the U.S. did give them a green light to attack Iran, and that's exactly what happened. Mossad was able to sneak in weapons, and they basically attacked a bunch of nuclear sites and basically some land where where they store gas and things like that, and that's how the war erupted. And obviously, it comes down to the fact that, Iran is not going to stay quiet now, right? And they didn't. They absolutely obliterated, Israel over the last 2 nights. They have basically bombarded a lot of areas, including Tel Aviv and Haifa. And Haifa is completely destroyed right now. And I'm going to show you a couple of videos, very short videos, so you guys can take a look at what is exactly happening. What I did want to show you is Iran's response. And this is basically a response from Ayatollah Khamenei. So let's take a quick look at it, and this is directly from a source directly from Iran, and I will show it to you right now. So let's take a quick look here, and there it is. Okay, and so this is SEPA News, and this is the announcement that came out a couple of hours ago. Okay, and they call this operation the Promise 3. Okay, and so this was their second announcement, and this is completely verified, it's factual, and they go on to say the offensive operations of the armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran will continue more aggressively and extensively if the mischiefs and aggressions continue. Okay. In the continuation of this offensive hybrid operation of Sadiq or Promise 3, in response to the evils and aggressions of the Zionist regime today, the fuel production facilities of the regime's fighters and energy supply centers were targeted with a large number of drones and missiles. According to SEPA News, the text of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, Public Relations Announcement number 2, following the new wave of missile operations of the Sadiq Promise 3 drone is as follows. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most gracious, the most merciful, whoever attacks you, then attack him in the same way as he attacked you. And they've taken that verse out of Surah Al-Baqarah from the Holy Quran. In the continuation of the offensive hybrid operation of Sadiq or Promise 3, in response to the evils and aggressions of the Zionist regime today, the fuel production facilities of the regime's fighters and energy supply centers were targeted with a large number of drones and missiles. The offensive operations of armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran will continue more aggressively and extensively if the evils and aggressions continue. The IRGC's aerospace defense system, under the command of the Integrated Network and the Joint Air Defense Headquarters of the country, has succeeded in intercepting and destroying 3 cruise missiles, 10 drones, and dozens of invading drones of the Zionist army in the conflicted areas of the country. They are, basically they are saying we're not going to back down, and there's been a few statements that have come out where they have stated that, Israel started this war, and we're going to decide when it ends, or Iran is going to decide when it ends. And I mean, with all due respect, Iran has a right to defend itself, right? Let's take a look at some other further news here. The other thing I want to show you, again, I made you a quick chart so it's much easier for you guys to see. But this is, again, these are reports, but it hasn't been confirmed just as yet. So let's see here. I had actually made a list. So there it is, okay? So today, basically, and again, as I mentioned, the operations, Israel calls the operation Rising Lion, and Iran's retaliation is called Operation True Promise 3. In response, Iran fired 150 ballistic missiles and 100 plus drones into Israel. Most were intercepted with dozens of casualties, and infrastructure's damaged in places like Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Jerusalem. Okay, and these are the numbers at a glance. Iran 78, so basically 78 killed, between 78 to 104 killed. Again, the numbers are not confirmed yet. 300 to 380 wounded. Widespread infrastructure damage, including nuclear, military, and energy. Israel 3 to 8 killed, 170 to 235 injured. Major cities and facilities hit, airport closures, and shock phase. Now, having said that, Israel has realized that they cannot handle this on their own. Iran is a force to be reckoned with, and they're not going away easy. Right? This was, again, not a preemptive strike. This was planned. They came in, they snuck in weapons through, they smuggled in weapons. Mossad was, in there spying, and this is the outcome of it. And we all know that Iran is not going to give up very easily. And Iran is the only one that, technically is standing alone, standing strong, and they defend, most of the Muslim countries. They defend, Palestine, they defend Yemen, and they are the central focus here, right? And that's what makes them, and that's why, Israel kind of makes it, Israel feels that they are basically, they are a threat. But in any case, right now it's come to the point where there are more attacks coming, and Iran again has announced and said that they are preparing to fire more missiles and more drones, and they have asked for U.S.'s help. Now the reports are that the U.S. has denied. Or has said that they're not going to help. But again, it's very hard to believe anything that comes out of that administration's mouth. And those reports are actually from Axios, as well as Haaretz, which is, like I said, a right-wing newspaper from Israel. And so they have both reported, and it's confirmed that the U.S. has declined to help out Israel. But like I said, again, it is very hard to believe. Now, I'm going to end the video by showing you the outcome of the blasts right now, so you guys can take a look and some of the damage. So this one here was 4 hours ago, and this is a post here, and take a look for yourselves, guys. I mean, it's devastating. I'm going to show you some more pictures and videos, and you're going to be... There's going to be a lot of casualties, a lot of injuries. A lot of people are going to get hurt. And again, all this could have been avoided, simply avoided, if Donald Trump would have used his brains and put a stop to it and said, wait, don't do this because you're going to, a lot of innocent lives are going to be lost because of this. Let's look at some other quick videos. This one here, also take a look. Jordanian attempts to intercept Iranian drones results in fire. And this is a fire that was actually in Jordan. And I'll show you that as well. So you can see that as well, and this is here. This is and there. This one's here, and as you can see here, fire and smoke seen rising from Haifa oil refinery in northern Israel after ballistic missile hits. And you can take a look for yourself. It's a 7-second video, and you can see right in the back there, the devastating attack. There is a lot more that is happening right now. And again, this was earlier during the day where Haifa was hit. There was multiple attacks that happened, multiple ballistic missiles and drones that came in. And right now, if you look at if you do look at some of the pictures, you'll see that Israel has been completely devastated. Let me quickly pull up a couple more posts for you, and you guys can actually see for yourselves as to what's going on. It's devastating. It really is devastating. And there's another one here. This is again a video, and this is from about an hour ago.
עוד זירה מאחורי בת ים, זה הבניין השבור. כל פה שבור, מנופץ, בסריקות.
כל מי שיש כלב גב, להגיע ולפתוח אותו כאן. כל מי
So you can see here.
בסריקות פה בתוך המבנים, לאתר פצועים. יאללה, בואו נצא. תקחי נעליים ותצאי, בסדר? איפה עוד יש לנו? פה היינו? יש כאן מישהו! הנה, אני בזירה. אתה לא מה זה.
And if you look over here as well too, this is again breaking, and this was reported by Mariv newspaper. We are now under the most powerful blow in the entire history of Israel. Where is the prime minister? As we all know, for those that don't know, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu actually has fled Israel and is on his way, or rather he has already landed in Greece and he's hiding there in a bunker. So he's not even in the war zone himself, right? And so that shows you how much of a coward he is. And here, take a look at this video. It's only 20 seconds.
אני לא מאמין! יש פצועים! תראו מה קרה פה! תראה!
And this is only going to escalate, and there it is, right, officially. And again, it's been confirmed by Axios, it's been confirmed by Haaretz. Breaking: Israel wants us to join the battle with Iran. Americans must say no. Israel officially requests the U.S. to join the ongoing campaign against Iran. Israeli media reports and officials saying there is a significant likelihood that the U.S. will join Israel's campaign, in particular target the Fordov underground nuclear facility. It seems that Israeli attacks on Iranian nuclear facilities have reached the limit, with only 2 of them damaged. Trump told Israel that he will join. And this is, again, there's your source, Axios. Axios is a great source for up-to-date news. It is free, so feel free to go ahead and take a look there, so that way you can stay updated. So you can see right now, and I'm sorry that, I did go a little bit fast, and I was, I did basically stutter a little. I do apologize. I'm still getting used to all of it and gathering all the information. But what I'm showing you is factual. It is fact-checked. And the things that I'm not able to confirm, I'm telling you that I'm not able to confirm, like the numbers and the damage, I have not been able to confirm yet. I'm still waiting for my sources to come through. But it is, from the looks of it and from what I've heard and from talking to a whole bunch of sources, it looks like the attack was devastating on both ends. As I told you, in Haifa, the port was completely demolished. Israel hit Iran's hospital. And so once again, the war intensified. And the saddest part is that, a lot of innocent people will die or have already died or have been injured, right? That is generally the rule of thumb in the casualty of war. Again, I can't stress the point that this was one person's doing. And again, my message to Donald Trump is that you are a foolish old man. You should not be a president. What you did was incorrect, and you will be held accountable for what you have done. If you had actually just kept Obama's deal in place, none of this would have happened. None of this would have happened. If you had not sided with Israel, and if you had actually had the strength to tell them no, we wouldn't be in this position. But we all know that you're a puppet of Israel and a puppet of Russia, and look what happened, right? They bypassed you, they embarrassed you. You're an embarrassment to humanity, you're an embarrassment to this world, right? Your whole cabinet is an embarrassment. And where is he today, guys? If you want to know, he's celebrating his 79th birthday with a parade. Meanwhile, there's a whole bunch of protests going on around the United States, the No Kings protests. And I'm sure those of you that are American viewers already know that. Those that are around the world, you should know that, United States citizens, American citizens, the real Democrats, the real people that, want their liberty and freedom, had protests around 50 states, all 50 states, and there were huge protests. I will cover that in a future video. But the world is falling apart right now. There's wars all over the world. There's a war going on between Ukraine and Russia, between Gaza and Israel. Yemen was involved today as well, which I didn't cover, and I'll cover in a future video. Syria has taken a blunt, has also, taken a lot of heat as well too. So it's all over the world. Does this mean that, this is the end of times now? Does it mean that, that's it? The world is now coming to a close? These are some of the questions that we have to ask ourselves. Why is all this happening right now? What alliances? Because the world is going to change, right? The alliances are going to change. And this is the way it's gonna happen. It's just sad to see that what's going on right now. It's sad to see that, a beautiful world that we once had, is now in shambles and is actually literally burning. Again, let's pray for peace. Let's pray for all those innocent people and civilians, men, women, children, that are there, that they, stay safe, and both sides, Israel and Iran, that they are, safe, and that this war ends quickly for them. Pray for all the doctors, the nurses, the emergency staff, and our veterans and our, army that are actually going in there and putting their life on the lines for us. And again, I'll end by saying that Israel brought this on themselves. It is a fact. They're a warmongering, bloodthirsty, state or country, whatever you want to call them. And this is a direct result of them wanting to, warmonger with everybody. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching my video. Please watch till the end. If you did, leave a blue heart, comment, leave me feedback, tell me what you want me to change, tell me what you think about this entire situation, and stay tuned for the upcoming video. Again, thank you so much for all your support, and I'll see you in the next video.